Hello and welcome to Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics, where we discuss complex supernatural subjects, whether that is out-of-body experiences, life after death, remote viewing, things of that nature. And today, this is a bit of a follow-up to the rice experiment, where a person can have 2 jars of, let's say, rice, and then if you direct negative, hateful energy in one and loving energy in the other one, you'll find that the hateful energy causes the rice to spoil quickly, turn green, and the rice that you're giving loving energy to stays preserved. So this experiment, it seems to be quite repeatable. I had some people in the Afterlife Topics forum doing this, as somebody did it to a banana. And so the banana that was given loving energy was staying preserved, so it wasn't turning brown. But the banana that was being exposed to hateful thoughts, hateful energy, was browning and rotting fast. Although in this case, the banana, if it's being exposed to the hateful energy and it's ripening quicker, well, it's going to taste better. But that's beside the point. So this experiment was conducted by a Japanese scientist. I talk a lot more about this a few videos back, where I did a discussion on the rice experiment. And so I decided to apply the same principle to my body, with the hypothesis that if rice is spoiling faster from negative energy, then the thoughts in our head is going to determine how quickly our physical bodies spoil. So it's a pretty important topic, I'd say. So as a quick preface, before I continue, if you have any squeamish issues with looking at photos of scarring, bodily scarring, then maybe skip this video, but it's nothing major. I'd imagine you'd be pretty squeamish to not be able to look at the couple photos of like some keloid scarring. So basically, I had surgery about almost 6 years ago now. Yeah, it's been 6 years. 6 years ago, I broke my leg when I was out in Thailand, and I had to have a 11 hour operation to install a titanium rod in my leg. And this was a very difficult time, but my surgeon was super skilled. And at the end of the day, I mean, instead of having to be in a hospital for 8 months as in a cast, because of the surgeon, they installed this titanium rod, and I was basically walking without a crutch after maybe 7 weeks. So that was that ordeal, but there was a big old surgical scar on my leg, and at the end of the surgical scar developed a keloid. And a keloid is kind of like a benign tumor caused by, I guess it has to do with like the skin collagen and skin tissue that malfunctions during a healing process and is just continually inflamed. So to give you an idea of what that's like, here is, I did not take a before and after photo because I wasn't taking this experiment that seriously. Goes to show you, I need to be a little bit more diligent. I was just kind of fooling around. So this is an example of what the tip of my scar looked like, but mine was more rectangular shaped, and I would say about half an inch in length. So it's this big, often bright red, scaly patch that doesn't go away and is perpetually itchy. Typically around the edges, there's a lot of scratch marks because I'm always scratching the thing and trying not to scratch the surface of it, but I'm scratching the edges. And a week ago, my keloid scar was giving me extra problems. So it was just itchy all the time, all week, and it was really annoying. And it never really stops. It's always there. Now as a full disclosure, I've had a couple times where it seemed to start to fade away, and then later on it came back again. Now this is kind of like a benign tumor. It doesn't consist of cancer cells, but it's still tumorous in nature, and the principle is similar in the sense that you have malfunctioning cells that keep replicating itself. And occasionally a keloid scar issue like this can become cancerous, but that's quite rare. Nonetheless, it is an issue. To be able to treat a keloid scarring is also similar in some ways to treating a cancer. Oftentimes they use radiotherapy to finally get rid of the damn thing, which I have no interest in exposing myself to, especially when it's this close to the old Kirkpatrick family jewels. I'm going to keep radiation devices far away from there. So I spent about 3 days, once a night, just like doing focused, directed, loving energy onto the part of the keloid scarring, focusing loving thoughts, positive energy, imagining that it's healing. And this sounds goofy, but like for doing like forgiveness, it's like my poor scar. I understand that you were traumatized by the surgery. It's okay now. Like, it sounds really goofy, but this is what I was doing. For about 3 days, 15 minutes a night. And I wasn't really paying much attention to it afterwards. I'm like, well, who knows? Maybe that'll do something. Maybe it won't. So let's take a look at how it looks right now. This is about 10 days later. And keep in mind that it looked like this basically after those 3 days were finished of doing this kind of directed intentional work. So this is my scar. I don't know if my cursor is going to come up on the screen, if you can see it. But as you can see, you can't really notice the scar too much, but at the end of the upper portion of this, if you look closely, it's a little bit more scaly looking, a little bit grayer looking. But before I was doing this work, that tip was as bright red as this photo that you see right now. So currently there is no itching, and it's smooth to the touch. It doesn't feel like a keloid anymore. I know it's possible that it may come back, and I'm kind of expecting it to, but this is highly unusual. And I also think there's a very real possibility that I healed it. So 15 minutes of focused, directed, loving energy, and suddenly, a couple days later, that this whole mess just, it's gone. Now I think this is really important to keep in mind, because a keloid scar, it's not cancer, but it's kind of in a similar family. So if this kind of work had such immediate direct effects on something that is almost related to how a cancerous tumor might be, then what does that say about being able to possibly use this on cancer, use this technique? I don't want to give anybody false hope, but we can repeat these experiments using loving energy, using the Japanese scientists, or just people doing it at home. I've been seeing people's results online. It's really consistent. So one reason this may be is that, a cellular process, it's being ongoing, the body has a level of control over it. So like, I can energetic healing like make you grow a pinky finger back if you chop the pinky finger off? I don't think so. But I feel like when it comes to things that the body is controlling, whether that's cancer or autoimmune issues, I feel like this kind of direct energy work, it's kind of like it could have the ability to basically send signals into that part of the body that could effectively stop such a disease. So I'll give you a couple pointers to keep in mind. When doing this kind of work, I think that ensuring that the energy, that the emotional signals you're sending are powerful is necessary. So you want to have almost an intense loving energy. So you don't want to be half-hearted about it. You have to really focus that loving energy onto it. You're doing visualizations, creating loving feelings in yourself, and then feeling like you're transmitting it into that part of the body. Imagining that it's healed, visualizing that it's already healed and how it'll look the next day, being completely better. Imagine kind of as if you're creating a different reality, and then you're entering into that reality. So imagine next week it's completely healed. Imagine yourself in that position of being completely healed, and do combinations of all that. And then as well as, most importantly, that loving energy, because that's the thing that seems to be affecting especially the plants, rice experiments, banana experiments. Do a combination of all of that and see what happens if you have a condition. I'm also doing this now on my throat because I have some acid reflux issues. They call it silent reflux. I'm always congested. I'm always having basically I have like a continual rash in my throat as a result of stomach acid. But I'm now taking these proton pump inhibitors. If I combine that maybe with healing the throat this way, maybe my symptoms begin to go away, and I have noticed a reduction in symptoms in that area as well. So these are just some ideas. I think it's pretty scientifically valid because those rice experiments are repeatable and people do them at home and seems to always result in similar effects. In fact, I can't remember, but I feel like there was a experiment they might have done like one of those debunking shows like Mythbusters, and they couldn't explain it because like it was actually they were actually getting results. Maybe somebody else could clue me in on that. I don't remember. Well, anyway, this is Cyrus. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button. Just go down below. It's the big red button at the bottom. If you're not logged into Google, then you can log into Google, and then the button will appear. If you want to get involved, you want to support the work I do, whether it's these videos or the books, the big community we have going, you can become a patron. $30 a month. You can join the classes. That's 2 classes a week. It's in-depth discussions. We have a little community going on. And that also includes one-on-one time with me. So anybody who subscribes, if you want to talk to me personally on Skype, then we can do that as well, if you subscribe. And it helps keep this work going. So you can find the info in the channel description. Click Show More. That's at afterlifetopics.com/university. You can join the group, check out the books, and that's it. I'll see you guys next time.